Hi there, and welcome back to Building the Boys. We now got issue 48 to finish out January 2023 of Hachette's Build the Titanic. I'm looking forward to this one because we get the grand staircase in this one, which is a surprise because when I signed up to the model, I didn't know we were getting the grand staircase. I genuinely didn't, but we do get one. And it's surprisingly ornate for something as small as it is. Now, there's always going to be the complaint where the detail's not there, detail's not there. Your naked eye couldn't pick this detail up. It couldn't. In 1/200th scale, you're not going to make out intricate wood carvings on something that's buried inside a ship. You're not going to see it. But there is still detail on it. And the clock is on the wall, which, again, I wasn't expecting to see. I don't know how visible this is going to be once it's inside our model. But it's there. That's what matters. So looking down inside this, we can see it. We can see the grand staircase. It's going to light up. It's going to look great. We've got a few other bits and pieces to install. We've got a tiny piece of decking to go in. We've got an LED strip to go in. Now, it doesn't look as if there's loads to do, but something tells me it could be a little fiddly, this one. So we'll take a look. Now, the other thing you do need to do in this one is, if you cast your mind all the way back to issue 22, and these things, you remember these? You should have had some windows left, which we're installing in here. The other thing that we had in issue 20 was a vent. A grill that goes over a vent. Now I've got mine. Don't know where it is. I put it somewhere for safekeeping. Can't remember where. Because that was like 6 months ago. So as much as I wanted to run around finding it, I've just bought another copy. So I won't have my vent to fit in this one because I can't find it. I don't throw anything away. So I know it's in my build room somewhere. I just don't know where the bloody hell it is. So I bought another copy. It's just easier. This is the month as well where all of a sudden issues 20 and issues 22 vanish from the store because people are going to be buying these when they can't find their remaining windows and their vents and things like that. So I do need that one little vent. If you are missing any of those little vent pieces, let me know because I've got all the other ones. So I've got them and I'll send them to you free of charge because what am I going to do with them? I just need that one vent. And mine's probably going to turn up anyway. I just don't know where it is. But let me know if you do need one. Anywhere I can help, I can help. At the end of this one, we will be talking about, we're having our Titanic talk after the instructions. If you are just sticking around for the instructions, please remember to like and subscribe. But after this one, we'll be talking about a Hollywood trope of the kind of the newlyweds on board and how romantic it is. Well, not always. So we'll be talking about a newlywed couple that were on board the Titanic that not quite Jack and Rose, more Fred and Rose. But we'll talk about it at the end. Let's get this one built. I'm very eager to see this done, and let's finish out the month. So here is everything we receive in stage 48. Now here is our grand staircase. We will look more in depth at it, but I mean, look at that. That's gorgeous, right? We do have the back wall, which here we go. So this is the back wall, and you can see right there. There is our clock. Wow! So happy with that. Now, they don't ask us to test this LED strip in this one, but I will be buggered if I'm going to build this ship and 2 years, 18 months from now, I find out one of the strips doesn't work. So I'm testing my strips. You don't have to do this. I'm just testing mine. I'd rather know today mine doesn't work than find out 2 years from now mine doesn't work. So I'm sure there'll be stages where there we go. That works. I'm happy. That's all I needed to see. It works. I'm happy. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to install the LED strip into the bottom of our decking here. Okay, so turn our decking up on the side. Now, I'm very conscious of our davits and lifeboat supports snapping. So I'm getting this up on the side. The way I've done that is just a G-clamp there, just to create like a stable for it so I can work on the side rather than line it down on its back. So we're going to install an LED strip and it's going to go in here. Now, unlike other ones where there were multiple ways it could fit, there is only one way this will fit. But I mean, if you miss that there, you might not see that. So this angled part here is going to sit over there. I'm going to slot this in. We have this one bulb here, which is going to protrude through there. And then these are going to slot underneath. So this is a little trickier than before, because normally we could have just popped this in, but this one's going to have a little bit more resistance. But that's not so bad. That's not so bad. First one in, and then hopefully a lift and a push, and it might pop. Will it, Hal? See, there was Scott open, you know, oh, it's been easy on this one. No, it's going to fight. That's okay. There we go. There we go. Nice. That was easy done. That wasn't so hard. Okay, so I believe that is all we've got to do in that stage there. Yeah, we are moving on to the staircase now. So I'm going to level this up. Well, no, I'm not. Let's stay where we are. Let's stay where we are because we've got to fit this staircase in and it's going to go in upside down and be screwed in. So let's stay as we are. So we're going to take our staircase here. Move you over. Take our staircase here. And we are going to slot through there. So our staircase is going to come through this way. That's going to sit over these lugs. Easier said than done. Got some resistance over. Okay. Okay, there's a lip. Right. Let me get this lined up properly. Okay, so that's our staircase installed, and we're going to hold it in place with 3 CP screws. And then we're going to go here. So let's pop the first one in. It is a little snug putting it in. I mean, you can't really do it on an angle. It's got to go straight down. If it's angled, it won't sit over the lugs. So once I got it sort of straight on, it went straight in first time. Let's pop this one in there. This does give us with a slightly awkward situation here where I don't want to put any weight on this now because I certainly don't want to be putting pressure on that staircase. So until we build this up, this might be a little bit of a nuisance to store, but I'm going to make some jig or something to stop it from touching the bottom. So that's that one screwed in. We now have to add the back wall to the stairs. So very gently turn this one over and see how we're looking. So there we go. There's our grand staircase in. And there we are. So you can see what we're doing. We are going to add the back wall to this. I'm going to find the best way to do this because again I don't want to put any pressure down on those stairs. Okay, so I fashioned a very crude jig just to keep this elevated because I certainly don't want to put any pressure on those stairs. The next thing I'm going to do is grab the back wall with a clock, and that is going to sit in there like so. There are 2 lugs in there where that's going to sit in. I'm not going to push it in completely because we are going to glue this in place. So as you can see, there are 2 gaps there and 2 lugs there. That's going to glue just down into there. I'm not going to use loads of glue because again I don't want any kind of scorch marks on our grand staircase. I want it looking as ornate as possible. So I'm going to put a touch of glue on the bottom of that, slot it into place. So there we have our back wall in place and our grand staircase in place, and really rather lovely that's looking too. Can't wait to the dome over the top of this thing. It's going to look amazing. I'm loving it. I think it's really nice. We are now moving on to the wheelhouse bulkhead. Okay, so we have our wheelhouse bulkhead here, and it is detailed. You can see there. There's our door, our widgets. Now this is quite a simple construction because these are only going to go on one way. These have got lugs. So we know full well they go on like that because there's no other way they can go on. So they go on there like that, and we put in a single CP screw to hold it in place. So that's that one. And then one more. Same again. Single CP screw. Really happy with that staircase. Again, Titanic's just coming to life now. We're watching it become the ship in front of our eyes. Beautiful thing. Let's get this last one put in. So that's our bulkhead complete. Now we're going to bring up our funnel section that we built before, and this is going to be going to it. So bringing over our funnel section of the superstructure, this is the area we're going to be building on. So the bulkhead's going to sit behind here. And we're going to install that now. So get this turned on this side and we'll put this in. So this is where we're going with it. You can see here I've put it in there. So it's going to slot over this lug here and over that one there. I'm just going to hold this in place with 2 CP screws. But it will make a difference, because I know there was concern about, it's got no back wall. Relax. There's a long way to go on this build. We don't know what we're getting or when we're getting it, because they haven't released a parts list to us. So rather than us keep going making stuff, why don't we wait and see what they do? And if we get to a point where it's like, well, looks like this ain't coming, then we go ahead and make one. I've seen it happen so many times. I've seen it happen with parts on Ecto and all kinds of things, where there was an assumption we weren't being given something, and then it turns up. So, I mean, look, it's your model, you can do what you want with it. But, you know, just wait and see. Wait and see. There's no... All we've got is time, man. So that's that one in. Let's flip this one back over. Let's see if we can get a look at this. That's very blurred. Right, can we get up to focus? There we go. You got a bulkhead now. Okay. Looking good. There is one more thing to do, which is what I spoke about, which is, originally, they asked us not to install windows there, and also the mesh over that vent. I wish I'd just bloody done it, because I knew that was where it was going to go. That's the one I lost. But I have got those 2 windows. I'm going to get those glued in, and then that will be complete. So those are my 2 final windows in. I am missing that mesh, but as I said, I bought another one. If you're missing any of this, now is very much the time. As I said, these are the issues that will disappear, because these are the bits people are going to be missing. I'm going to try and attach this to our main deck to see what this looks like. So there we have it. Now, naturally, none of this is secured, so there's going to be gaps and things like that along there, because this isn't all screwed into place, but that's how we're going to be. And then we can look down onto our grand staircase here. Let's move our dome. If I can move the dome. These nice, ridiculous hands of mine. This dome falls off normally. The day I want to take it off on camera. Can't do it. There we go. We can look down and see our grand staircase, which will at some point light up. Very, very, very happy with that indeed. I think it's looking great. I really do. Big stupid smile on my face. Happy. Happy, happy, happy. Our wheelhouse down there. It's looking great. It's looking great. It's looking beautiful. This thing's going to be huge, and I can't wait. Let's have a chat. So that's 48 done. That's the month done, and really rather lovely it is. I mean, I'm very impressed with the staircase, because I wasn't expecting it. Wasn't expecting a staircase, but we got one. I'm happy about that, and it looks really nice. And when it's all lit up, it's going to look gorgeous. And it's just an extra element to this ship that you can look down inside and see. And it is iconic. I mean, as images of the Titanic go, I mean, the film certainly really intensified the iconography of the grand staircase. But you think the interior is the Titanic, you think the staircase. The staircase really was the focal point of the kind of opulence on board, the luxury on board that boat. Insane. And it's lovely that we've got one. I think that's really nice. If you are just sticking around for the build instructions, thank you for stopping by. Please join us next month. We will be building 49 through to 52, where we have lots more to come. And I can show you a sneaky peek of what comes in stage 49. And it is decking, aft section of boat deck, connectors, stickers, and reflective strips. Now, you can see from, I mean, I can see, you can't see very clearly, but this part here, these black stickers, I can see. Let me put the woman repellers on. I'll just confirm all this for you. Okay. I'm pretty sure, yeah, they've got window cutouts. Excuse me. They've got window cutouts on those black stickers. So what those are going to do is they are going to block out all of your light bleed. As I was showing you before the electrical tape trick, that's what they're going to do. So those are going to lie on the inside of these, and they're going to block out the light bleed. So if you're worried about glowing up, it's not going to happen. And this is what I mean. Let's stop assuming they've done something wrong. Okay, and let's start assuming that maybe things are coming that we don't know about. And we'll see where we are. But that it'll work. It's effective. I've got light bleed tricks on the channel that show you doing with insulation tape. It's the same thing. So we've got another big chunk of the boat decking in the first one next month. So this thing is really flying now. It really is. I know from what I've read as well, we're not going back to the stern anytime soon. we are sticking very much on the superstructure for now, but that's okay because it's looking lovely. It's looking really good. Again, if you are just sticking around with the instructions, thank you for stopping by. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next month. For those sticking around for our Titanic talk, we're going to be talking about Dickinson Bishop and his wife Mary, who were newlyweds on the Titanic. Now, every Hollywood movie or miniseries or drama that's been made about the Titanic typically has newlyweds. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of those stories were based on Dickinson and Mary Bishop as kind of, star-crossed lovers. Nah, not so much. Not on this one. Unfortunately, I don't have a story to tell you about these doomed lovers or that. No, they lived. So Dickinson and Mary both lived, and they were again on the first lifeboat off. They were on lifeboat 7, so they were in the same lifeboat as Skirts, who we spoke about in the last issue, and also Dorothy Gibson, who we spoke about long ago. I think it was like issue 3 or 4. So how was he in a lifeboat? Same way Skirts was. So again, they were playing bridge in the first class lounge when this happened. They were on their honeymoon. So they've been on honeymoon for 4 months. They were part of their 4-month honeymoon, which involved all of Europe and Africa. 4 months. This is money. So these people are wedged up. So they were indulging in their 4-month honeymoon. And during their travels in Europe, they picked up a little dog called, I want to say it's called Frou Frou, in Italy. And he was on board the Titanic with them. And they heard the collision. They went out to inspect, saw what had happened, and they claim in the inquiry that they saw Jacob Astor telling people to put their lifeboats on and get off the boats. Again, we will talk about Jacob Astor at one point. He's a huge character Titanic, and he deserves his time. That's coming. So they said they saw Jacob Astor telling people, put your jackets on, it's time to get off. So they did. They didn't go back for the dog. Again, fair enough, but they were the first ones off. There was time to get the dog, but they didn't. They just left the dog. So Frou Frou was, I believe, lost to the depths. Sad, but that's what happened. They claim the reason why they were able to get into Lifeboat 7, because that was a point of interest, was that the instruction was newlyweds first. Not women and children, newlyweds should be the first into boat 7. Absolute nonsense. No one claims they heard that. Not a soul. They claim there were 3 newlywed couples already in Lifeboat 7. Now, that doesn't tot up to who was actually in Lifeboat 7, but they claim there were 3 newlywed couples in Lifeboat 7, and that the order was newlyweds first. It's convenient, isn't it? So, so they got into Lifeboat 7 and the first ones away. Yeah. Now, as I've said before, there is this belief that first class passengers acted skeezy when they didn't. I mean, Jacob Astor was one of the wealthiest men on the planet at this point, and never took a seat in a lifeboat. He helped people get off board. And there are hundreds of stories to that effect of first class helping third class and giving up their seats for people in third class. Hundreds. However, it's not that surprising that the first people off the Titanic were a little bit skeezy. The first people to save their own skins. It's hardly surprising that Boat 1 had the people with maybe slightly lower social ethics than other people. But they got off, and that's what they did. So they were, because the order was newlyweds first, they got off. Now, different versions of that event happens, where she claims that, Mary claims that she was placed into the lifeboat, and then her husband was just pushed into it. That didn't happen either. But she claims that's what happened, that it wasn't newlyweds first, because she never mentioned that in the inquiry. When people started going, no one said that, it never came up in the inquiry, because they were both called to the inquiry. They didn't really question him. They didn't really question him on how he ended up in the lifeboat, which was a bone of contention. All they really asked him about was the locking of watertight doors, and he said that he observed the sailors struggling and just couldn't do it. They couldn't lock the watertight doors, which was part of the reason why Titanic sank as quickly as she did. But that was the main source of inquiry for him, was about the watertight doors, which was weird. No one really asked him, how come you were in lifeboat number 1 then? They claim they never heard anyone say women and children first. They didn't, in the inquiry, go on to say it was newlyweds first. But they claim they never heard anyone say women. And again, there's a logic there. It's the first one-off, maybe, that hadn't been started shouting about yet. Ethically, should he have got on? Probably not. But as we've spoken before, it's all good and well saying we'd all be chivalrous, would we? You know? So that's where we are at this point. But it didn't do them any favours, because he, along with Skirts, was identified as someone that dressed as a woman to get on board a lifeboat. Was it true? I don't know. I don't think it was. But if it was, it was damning to him. So that was pretty much it. There was nowhere else for the relationship to go. They ended up divorced that very same year. And she listed grounds of abuse and cruelty. He was quite heavy-handed and would knock her about. Scumbag. So again, I don't have this kind of newlywed romantic story to say. He was a scumbag. He was a scumbag that saved his own skin on the Titanic, left his dog to die. First one off, let's go. And that's what it was. So yes, there were amazing stories of remarkable acts of kindness and humanity on board the Titanic, but then at the same time, of course, there were going to be people that were in it for themselves, and he was one of them. This is a picture of him. This is a picture of the guy. I know what you're thinking. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah. But unfortunately, he didn't get melted by the ghosts and inside the Ark of the Covenant. He lived quite a full life, quite a privileged life. But he wasn't, by all accounts, he was a nice man. And I think what we have established at this point is we now have spoken about, so look, 1, 2, 3, 4 people that were inside lifeboat number 7. Skirts, Dorothy Gibson, and the Bishops. None of them very nice, were they? So we're 4 out of 23, and they were all kind of scummy. It's my opinion. You don't have to share it, and I understand that circumstances are different for different people, but none of them are exactly, I wouldn't want my life to be in their hands, put it that way, because I think they're in it for themselves and kind of screw everyone else. It's got that air about it, hasn't it? But that is our Titanic story of the Bishops, and that is it for this month. We should be getting 4 more in February, around about Valentine's Day. So who knows, maybe we'll do something romantic for Titanic that month. I don't know. We do, as I said, we do have a lot coming up. So there are a lot of superstructure parts to be done. They keep mentioning cutters. Don't know. On the description of what's coming up, cutters to use later. So we're going to start seeing a lot more electrics as well. So I know over next month we've got a lot more decking, a lot of superstructure, and a lot of electrics that is going to be building up. And I believe we're going to start amassing parts that don't go anywhere, because there's a lot of to use later in the what's coming up. So storage is going to be a thing. Be very careful how you store your decking, because again, you've got your grand staircases now hanging underneath the deck, and you've got all the parts hanging above the deck. So this is a bit of an awkward thing to store. So I'd advise some bubble wrap or something like that, just to keep it nice month after month. And that's where we are. Thank you for stopping by. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you next month for more Titanic, but we will have lots more coming up on the channel. So we will have more Dark Knight Tumbler. Ecto 1 hopefully will be happening soon. We will be doing the DeLorean on the channel. The very end of Iron Man will be up next week. We have a few other bits and bobs along with the Disney Doll's House, our weekly catch-ups, and the other weird and wonderful wacky features that we have on the channel. Thank you for all your support. Welcome to all new subscribers, and if you haven't yet, be a rascal, hit that button and join Building the Boys as one of our subs. We'd love to have you, we really would. We will catch you next month for more Titanic. Once more, in a world where you can be anything nice, it'd be anything at all, just be nice, and I will catch you on the next one.